everyone, my name is Evan and I like to make stop-motion dinosaurs and monsters, and in this YouTube video today, I'm happy to say we'll be sculpting the T-Rex today. And along the way, we'll be discussing whether or not this is the most dangerous monster in the franchise, I say.
So I tried putting the Lego block, but it didn't fit. Oh, did you try wiggling around it though? Oh, I did not do it. Oh, I guess so, eh? Oh, what the heck is that about?
Oh, not my legs. My beautiful legs.
Now, as we make the mutant Jurassic World T-Rex today, the topic of the day is whether or not this is the most powerful beast in the Jurassic World franchise today, I do say. Jurassic World Rebirth is introducing one of the strangest creatures the franchise has ever seen to this day. The mutant dinosaur that is dubbed as the T-Rex, aka the Doomsday Rex. Now, this guy has definitely caused a bit of controversy online, splitting the fandom into two halves. Some are absolutely loving the design, and well, others not so much. And for me personally, I think it's cool, but I don't think it belongs in the Jurassic World franchise. Mainly because of its resemblance to, well, a Muto and various other movie monsters that obviously have nothing to do with this franchise. I've even gotten messages from people who didn't know that the T-Rex was actually part of the Jurassic World. They thought it was basically a Cloverfield monster, which I can't say I blame them. Now, however, I should mention I do really like the premise or the idea that it comes from a failed specimen. While it can be minorly canon breaking, since that we know that all failures of dinosaurs were allegedly destroyed, to avoid exactly what the T-Rex is. It is still a very cool story to explore nonetheless, so it's not exactly a major recon, just a minor one. This is a dinosaur that has been lost to time, but created by fragments of the future, only to be left behind and tortured for eternity, until its death. And when you put it like that, well, that sounds pretty epic. So I'm really interested to see what they exactly do with this creature. But by judging what we know so far, I would imagine there's only a handful of people that have noticed what I have noticed about this mutant. Leading us to the question whether or not this is the most dangerous dinosaur of all the Jurassic franchise. And well, that's exactly what we're going to be speculating about in today's video. So I'll try to explain this to the best of my abilities. And if you want more informative Jurassic and or Kaiju Godzilla content here on YouTube, well, I do exactly that. For example, would you like to find out more about this dinosaur's lore? Be sure to check out part 1 of the Jurassic World T-Rex project. And or any of my other dinosaur videos where I tend to, well, stick to the more scientific side of things. But obviously for the Jurassic franchise here, we do have to make some minor exceptions. But either way, I'm happy to say once this project is done, I say, there will be plenty more dinosaur content heading your way. Basically, anything dinosaur or monster related, I got you covered, so be sure to subscribe to the channel today, I do say. Anyway, that's enough of my e-begging for now, so let's discuss whether or not this is the most dangerous dinosaur of the Jurassic franchise. So throughout the trailer of Jurassic World Rebirth, we can undeniably say this mutant dinosaur was definitely the most questionable part about it, but probably one of the most hyped up parts of the trailer as well. Whilst there really wasn't necessarily a big lead up at the end of the trailer, like there was with the Spinosaurus and the Mosasaurus, but the most dangerous aspects of this trailer pretty much came from the T-Rex itself. It looks big and it's obviously carnivorous, and you can even see the complete fear from the characters. When the T-Rex first enters the frame with its claw, we can see John Bailey's character shaking his leg in absolute fear. We can also see when the T-Rex is locked up in the cryo chamber, someone is desperately trying to get out because he pretty much knows he's going to die. But not only that, we see the fear in Duncan's face, going face to face with this dinosaur, via some very short brief images obviously. But pair that all up with the fact that this creature is often being shown in a red mist throughout the trailer, just adds even more to the fear aspect. We see it in the red cryo chamber, we see it in the red flare, and you can even see it through the mist of the smoke as well. So they really tried their best to showcase this dinosaur in an aspect for the viewers to be like, whoa, this guy is very dangerous. And what on earth is this thing? So whilst there wasn't really a big lead up to the end of the trailer, I do believe it was the most hyped dinosaur in the trailer itself, and they did this on purpose because I just know throughout the movie we are all going to start correlating the T-Rex with the color red, judging by what we saw in the trailer, which I'm sure you all know what red refers to: blood, death, danger, all that types of stuff. So the fact that it looks ginormous, the fact that it's carnivorous, and not to mention the fear that we see distilled in the characters, and the fact that we see it correlated with the color red, it really makes me think whether or not this dinosaur is going to be dangerous. And judging by the outside perspective and the sounds of it, you're more than likely to automatically say, well, yes, the mutant T-Rex is going to be very, very dangerous. But is it really dangerous? Just a couple hours after the trailer, I had this thought to myself about the T-Rex, and I was kind of waiting to see if anybody else had the same idea. Now, it actually took about a week before I started seeing a handful of people say the same thing that I'm thinking. And they started with the question whether or not this T-Rex was going to actually be dangerous. Because I think it's safe to say that 95% of people out there undoubtedly would say that the T-Rex is dangerous. But the other 5%, well, I'm within that percentage, and only a handful of people have been questioning whether or not the T-Rex is actually going to be dangerous. So let's try to break this down. So when we think about the creature, what exactly is it? Well, it's a genetic failure. That alone should be enough for you to start sympathizing with this dinosaur. We know that every dinosaur in the franchise, other than the Scorpius Rex, they generally pretty much came out perfectly, exactly how the scientists wanted. Maybe Bumpy was asymmetrical, and maybe the Spinoceratops did look like a bit of an abomination, but pretty much all the dinosaurs that we did get to see on screen came out perfect or almost perfect to the actual intentions behind the scientists creating the dinosaur. But this mutant dinosaur, the T-Rex, we know it was sculpted after the xenomorph in Aliens, and also the Rancor from Star Wars. But it was also mentioned that it was themed from the Tyrannosaurus Rex from the Jurassic, aka Cretaceous. Of course, this being a Jurassic movie. So it's safe to say that this is a genetical failure of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, which automatically, if you think about it, and you do a bit of a deep dive into it, it's honestly kind of heartbreaking when you think about it because it's not really supposed to be alive. And to be honest, most genetical failures don't make it past infancy. So the fact that it could be possibly nearly 50 years old kind of makes you think, well, wow, actually maybe this guy isn't going to be much of a threat. It's gonna have a lot of deformities and it's just not natural. And as I said before, the odds of this thing actually being alive are very slim. Most genetical failures, again, do not go past infancy. And of course, we also know about the morality rule, which requires these dinosaurs to be destroyed if they are a genetical failure. So I think it's safe to say that this creature probably shouldn't be alive. And well, obviously it is, so it's probably clearly struggling to stay alive. Throughout the trailer, as we try to identify its features and what it does, and God, identifying this thing has not been easy. But either way, with what we were able to see, you can tell that it's not going to be a very fast-moving creature. It takes an age to move even towards Duncan in the trailer. And you can also see how slowly the claw lands on the pontoon in the trailer. So I think it's safe to say that this creature is obviously very slow-moving. It's not bipedal like a Velociraptor or a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's a massive quadruped, so from what we know about massive quadrupeds, especially on the sauropod region things, they don't entirely move very fast. Unless you're probably a Hadrosaurus or a Ceratopsian. So the fact that it is slow-moving, we can then pair it up with the fact that it doesn't really have a practical design for killing. And in all honesty, if you just take one good look at it, the way that it would kill and or hunt really just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, not only that, we can also see how bulky this creature is, adding to the fact that it is just not agile. It's by no means going to be running around and changing directions very quickly, like a Velociraptor can. I mean, sure, yes, it does have these really long and big arms, but at the end of the day, the design is just not practical for hunting destroying and or killing. So this creature is most likely going to be a scavenger or opportunistic hunter. And again, I just don't really personally understand how it would survive 50 years to begin with. It's clearly a very old creature. So when we all get to finally see it in Jurassic World Rebirth, it's more than likely going to be past its prime in hunting years. So when we pair all of this together, the fact that it's a genetical failure, it shouldn't be alive, and it's nearly 50 years old. It's very slow moving, it's bulky and not agile, and it just doesn't have a practical design for killing. So overall, I do believe it's not as dangerous as they are portraying. I'm sure it will have its moments like snapping up somebody and or throwing them around or perhaps even treading on somebody. But just based off everything that we do know, it doesn't really come across too dangerous in my opinion. It's kinda just there existing. You know what I mean. So while it was portrayed as a big danger or threat in the trailer, I strongly disagree that it's going to be anything as such in the movie. It just does not have the right features or compatibility to be maybe even as terrifying as the skull crawlers from the Monsterverse, for example, and honestly, those guys are really cool, and definitely one of my favorites in that movie. I mean, sure, maybe it does have some potential to be like those, but the T-Rex mobility really lets it down in this department. So yeah, my conclusion is that I honestly don't think it's going to be the most dangerous, well, dinosaur and or monster in the Jurassic World franchise. And I honestly don't think it's going to be anywhere near it. And I personally believe that those titles belong to either the Indominus Rex or the Scorpius Rex. And of course, the queen of the dinosaurs, Rexy, aka Roberta. Because I'm gonna be honest, I feel pretty confident that I could probably outrun the T-Rex in comparison to any of those other creatures. So that concludes our synopsis today on the T-Rex, I say. So let me know what you think in the comments below today. Is this dinosaur going to be a massive threat, or is it going to be a monstrous wreck? But either way, if you enjoyed this video today, be sure to smash that like button as hard as a dinosaur, I do say. And be sure to subscribe today so you don't miss any of the new dinosaur content that'll be stomping your way. But anyway, it's time for the build rundown, I say. So on our claymation T-Rex project today, we added, well, the first and second layer of plasticine clay, making this mutant more than just a skeleton, you could say. And I just have to say that this thing is looking rather monstrous today. But with the first layer of plasticine clay, we got the foundation of our T-Rex, you could say. Then with the second layer of clay, it was adding layers of muscle, I say, making this dinosaur look far more menacing and threatening, I do say. We also made some oven-baked claws today, but unfortunately one could say we had to make a correction along that way by removing one of the T-Rex's fingers today, because I made the mistake of adding 3 where only 2 should be. But now that a good chunk of this sculpture is done, the next part of this project that'll be on the way is the details, I say, where in part 3, this monstrosity will be released on the LEGO City. So be sure you have your post notifications turned on today, so you don't miss the details of the T-Rex coming your way. And for this last part of the video today, I have a special shout out for someone, I say. So be sure to check out SMG16 Studios 45 today, I do say. And before this video ends today, I just want to say that I truly appreciate each and every one of you, and you're the reason I keep working so hard and all these different dinosaurs and monsters, so I hope you have a great day, I do say. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the very end of the video. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the content, comment below what you think, share with your friends, and perhaps consider subscribing if you're new. And anyway, that's enough from me. Till next time, take it easy.